Okay, we're watching Hoops Fan 33, who is playing Winston, Diva, Roadhog, Sigma. I don't know. All these are listed. I don't know if they're actually going to play them all in this match. But certainly starting out as Sigma, playing tank in this match is Gold 4. I don't know if this is PC or console on Midtown. Felt like we basically were getting rolled on defense, then completely rolled in attack. I know I was messing up and tried to push in without support at least once, but I felt like I couldn't make any space. Just looking for advice to play, especially in this map better, since it seems I struggle here the most. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can talk about Midtown. I just want to see, do you end up winning? Does not appear so. Yeah. Is that going to go well for you? Okay. So, let's start out at the very beginning. So you start, yep. I think your team is playing top right, which is pretty unusual, but, you know, it kind of is what it is. Yep, I would just start spamming here. No reason not to. Yep, just spam. So, FYI, it's usually not a good idea to attack Sigma or Ramatra Shield because it has 1,000 health and only lasts 4 seconds. So I would probably avoid attacking right now and, for example, bounce it off the rear wall, and so that it will go behind him and hit the Ramatra. That's a small tip. So when you see the Ana step up like this, she's going to throw a sleep or she's going to throw a nade. When she goes up like this, you should put shield in front to protect your Bastion, right? Because he's purple right now, he could easily die right now before he gets the cover. You should shield for him. You are apparently not interested in shielding. That's not so good. The shield is now useless because the shield is behind them. So I think we're identifying a lot of mechanics problems right now of Sigma. You're just not using most of his kit, I would say, which is a real problem. The shield, very, very valuable. It regens pretty quickly. So definitely having some trouble attacking. I think you're backing up too early here. I think you can continue to hold this corner for at least a little while longer because your Bastion is still out here. So if you back up from this corner, then they all flood forwards and attack your Bastion. So I think you want to stay out here, right? You still have shield, you still have full health, you still have grasp. You're not going to die here. There's literally nothing they can do to kill you right now. I think you should stay here, even climb on top of the taxi if you need to get better angles to attack. I think because your shield goes down, you're like, oh, I got to go back. And that's not necessarily true, right? I mean, if they're not pressuring you, then you can stay out there. Because now, the problem is it's really, really hard for you to win because you're 4 and 5. So the moment you lost that Bastion, the fight's basically over. Like, you really need to clutch this somehow to win this fight, which is unlikely. So, another tip for Grasp is don't use Grasp when you have a lot of health. Use Grasp only when you're, like, half health or below, and everyone is clearly committed to killing you. So you see that your Grasp doesn't really do anything, and you just die anyway. The primary issue here is that you're simply not holding the space, okay? The idea is that you don't let them cross this line, okay? This is the line where you'd be like, hey, look, I'm just not going to let them in. Because if you let them in past that point, you're probably going to lose the fight anyway. You don't really put up much resistance here, okay? You, like, put up the shield kind of late. It doesn't actually block your Bastion that much. You can see there's still plenty of an angle for them to attack. So they're still able to put a lot of pressure on your Bastion. You're not syncing up with your Bastion's timings, right? Your Bastion has certain power timings where they're very strong. They have 6 seconds in tank form, 10 seconds in cooldown. You're not syncing with that at all. Then you just let your Bastion die here because you're just wandering back. And then because this is 4 and 5, and basically, like if I was playing you as a GM tank, I don't think I can clutch this, right? You're down 1, your soldier's super low, your team is scattered. There's just no way to win this now. Your whole objective should have been, hey, look, my Bastion's fighting there. Okay, I'm fighting my Bastion, right? It's not like you got low. It's different if you got here and you got low, right? You have no grasp, you have no shield, fine, retreat. Okay, but you're full health and you still have grasp. So you have a lot of tools, like literally just stand in front of this and hold and push grasp. Right? Like that at a minimum will buy your team 2 seconds, 2-3 seconds of time for the Bastion to recover or deal damage or whatever it ends up being. I think just letting them walk over you is a big mistake. Okay, you decide to go Roadhog. I think Sigma was perfectly fine here. I mean, Roadhog is also okay here, but I don't see... there's nothing I saw here that told me, hey, you have to switch tanks right now. Definitely not. You should have gone for that hook. Right here, you should have gone for that hook. Hook the Roadhog and pull them behind the cop car. And then he's the Ramatra, rather. You hook the Ramatra here, he probably dies. Because it's very, very hard for him to get back to cover if he's in that position. And if he blocks, he has people on 3 sides of him. So that's a missed opportunity. I would have hooked that Bastion. Or you're just not aggressive, right? Like right here, hook the Bastion, pull him to your right. You know, stick him in here. Hopefully, maybe if you step to the left slightly, you can pull him in behind you, and then he's dead. Even in tank form, he's gonna die for sure. You need to be hooking somebody. So your hook comes up every 6 seconds. Okay, you have to be hooking like all the time. You You are extremely lucky to have gone Vienna in that situation. I think you're just not used to playing Roadhog. That's what I'm seeing here, is that you're just way too afraid to throw hooks, and as a result, you're not doing anything to stop the team down from moving forward. Okay, look at it from their perspective. Starting from when you start playing Roadhog, what are you doing to stop this team from walking forwards? Okay, you like spam a little bit, great, right? We're not just spamming. Okay, now you're slept. Now you're just chilling, right? You got Suzu'd. You're just shooting, right? Bastion's still shooting. Cart's moving forwards, right? Like nothing is happening right now. Every 6 seconds, you should be like, you should hook somebody into your team, and then they die. Right? You have a lot. It's not like they're all doing a good job covering. They're all standing out wide out in the open. You have many opportunities to get these kills. You're just not executing. Like this looks to me like somebody who does not play Roadhog. There's like almost no way that you can stop this fight. Roadhog is not good where like, oh, we only have 3-4 seconds to go. Like Ryan's great in that situation. Risa's great in that situation. But Roadhog builds advantages over time. Every 6 seconds, that's a pick attempt, right? If you're landing them every 6, you're gonna dominate the game. Even if you're only hooking 50% of the time, you're still gonna win games that way. But hooking like what is effectively 0 kills there over what should have been 5 or 6 hook attempts, that's unacceptable. Right? This hook, way too late. Way too late, right? The second that he steps out to the right here, I throw the hook. Like, I can't even really watch this. Like, what advice am I going to give you besides hook more and land hooks? You know, like, this is not... You should reload there. Alright, if you're not going to shoot, just reload. Because now you only have 2 shots left. Okay, you can probably still clutch this. Oh, okay. Everything has gone right now. So, first of all, you have to stay on cart. Second, you should have gone for the Ramacha, you should have gone for the supports. Right? Like, the Ramacha's really not doing that much damage. The supports are far more dangerous and more likely to be a problem here. You should have gone over here, right? Hooked, killed, and gone from there. I don't think you can play Roadhog. Yeah. So now you're swapped to Winston. This does not look like a map problem for the record. It legitimately looks like you don't play Roadhog. Like, it looks like you have like 5 hours or less of Roadhog in competitive play. Okay, so you're going to decide not to jump in, instead just walk in, which you're going to get away with, which I think is very lucky. Now you're point blank with the Bastion, you're going to jump out right away. So you're at 360 health right now, you should really get healed. Like, your Kirigo's in the room, just wait 1 second, tap healing, and then you're going to get healed to full, and then you can go right now. Right, see how low you are? And now you don't have health, and you don't bubble. You should have died. You got down to like 2 health. You're so lucky you didn't die. Okay, you're going to kill Moira. This is definitely console. This has to be console. Alright, so Bastion's in tank form. Yep, just wait it out. By the way, you saw/heard the soldier down here. I would have dropped right now to go for the soldier one time. Okay, this jump is at the wrong time. Right? He goes down already. He's already dead. You're jumping for no reason. You should jump the Moira, or just dropped on top of her and then gone for her. This is a bad jump. So it doesn't look to me like you're familiar with Winston's jumping mechanics, which are quite tricky, right? Definitely one of the more technical heroes in the game. There's actually a lot of depth to it. I think you're probably thinking about priming here. I don't know why he's not shooting you, but take it. Yeah, that Roger can die easily. No problem. This bubble does nothing.
You're a lifesaver.
I would jump that soldier. Yeah, right away. This is a good jump, right? Land behind him. You should have landed on him, though. Behind and on him. So instead of landing here, you should have landed here. Right? That way you do the max 50 damage, you get the melee in, so it's 80 damage right there, and you bump him towards the wall, and you body block him to prevent him from getting out. But because you land here, you give him a chance to escape, which then gets you stuck here. You're going to bubble to not die. Now you need primal. Your Zen trance is here because you get too low, which I totally understand. But you're not going to do anything with this primal. I mean, primal is one of the hardest ultimates in the game to use. I would say it's probably the hardest ultimate to use in the game. Good bubble, just bubble him off. Yeah, if you're going to play Winston, you got to learn how to do primals. It's very hard. I'd say that you can probably not know how to use primals until mid-plat-ish, and then after that, you really need to learn how to use primals and just spend time like grinding it. So this is a really bad dive because you don't have bubble and you're caught in the open against the Bastion with tank form. Even with bubble, like this bubble's gonna die so fast, and then what do you do? I don't think you know how to play Bastion. So Bastion, 6 seconds in tank form, 10 seconds cooldown. Don't fight when he has tank form. Bait the tank form out, then hide around a corner, then dive in after tank form's over because he does very little damage outside of tank form. Okay, so you need to start applying some oh boy. That was a bad jump, obviously. You need to get onto the back line right now. I would jump on cart, right? Jumping on cart is very effective as well. You're very reluctant to do jumps, I think because you don't know how to do a short jump. That's my read right now. So they've got a Reaper to help deal with you, which is great. I would try to get that Reaper if you get a chance. Okay, cool, you get the stagger. So you do not want to fight that Reaper at a close range. You can hear him, by the way, coming up on your left. This is also a bad room for Winston to play in at all, because you can't jump, right? Because the ceiling is so low. So if you need to quickly get away, you're going to slam into the ceiling. Right? You see how small that jump is? Like, you nearly died here. With slightly better aim in his part, you were dead. You should not do that. You don't need to go for this Mega. Like, your supports are killing you. So you jump in right now without bubble, which is a big no-no. Right? I would say in general, unless you really know what you're doing, don't jump in ever without bubble. Sunni's up. Trance is up. So just get into the trance. You need to be very careful here. I would also be careful that you're feeding a lot of full charge to the Reaper. So even though you switch, it's almost working again. So you go for the Ana. Yeah, see. You don't know how to do short jumps, so it's like impossible for you to control Primal Rage. So I will link a Primal Rage guide / jump guide for you because it's so important as Winston. Like you only know how to do a regular jump and you know how to jump high in the air. Those are your only two options.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Okay, we're chilling. Last fight. Trying to zap the rotation, which is good. And he uses sleep, which is great. I would reload right now. I would definitely reload right now. Yeah. Great. Got a pick. So this should be an easy win at this point. So Reaper probably has ulti. I would have gone back with the Reaper to try to bubble off the ulti. Right? He's at half health and he has no help right now. I would bubble off the Reaper to make sure the Reaper dies. So if only you could do a short jump. So hold backwards when you jump and look down, and you'll do a short jump, and you can add that 50 burst damage on. Plus the melee will give you 80 burst damage, which would kill the Ana. Yeah, you guys are gonna lose this. So I think a lot of things kind of go wrong here. Let's roll this back.
10 seconds remaining.
So starting from the Reaper, who's gonna Wraith. You go in here. I would follow the Reaper, right? Follow the Reaper, confirm the kill. The Reaper only has less than half health. With you plus the Moira, it's an easy kill. But the supports are too distracted right now to help anybody else because the Reaper's here on the cart, right? Just bubble him off, fight with the supports, and he's dead. Like, look how low the Reaper is, right? Kill him first. Now you have your supports ready. Now you can go back after the Ana or whatever it is you want to do, right? The Ana should die here. You have jump off cooldown, right? Just one quick short jump, she dies. Because you just don't know how to do it. Like, this is an easy opportunity for a kill that you just can't convert because you don't know how to do the jump mechanics, which is unfortunate, right? It's like losing a game because you don't know what the reload button is, and you have to like shoot out your whole mag in order to reload. It's just unnecessary. All right, and then you're gonna end up losing this, and that's the point. I think you're just gonna stagger it. Yep. Okay, so you started getting it together at the end, but obviously beginning's not great. You should open as Rhine. So sleep is used, so be aggressive. You don't look like you know how to shield hop, so that's also going to be a problem. I would not throw 2 fire strikes that far away. I think you need to get a lot closer. So I think number one problem is you are trying to shield too much. You should not shield for your team. I know it seems counterintuitive, but do not use your shield to be like, oh, I'm going to protect my team while they do stuff. No, no, no. Your job as Ryan is to get in there and swing at people. Your shield is to protect you to get to them, right? The way that you create space for your Bastion is not by standing here holding a shield. The way you create space is that you run up here and start swinging at people's faces and you hold the shield when you're in trouble, right? Also, never let your shield break. It's a very, very sloppy Ryan mistake. Even a 1 health shield can block a D.Va bomb. Can't miss that swing. See, now you've separated from your team. I think you realize the mistake. I think, yeah, charging is the best, only real option you have at this point. So your team goes a different direction, partially because I think you faked them out. Right, so you go up here. So you see how you're here? So like the whole team teleports over here and everybody's going high ground, which they clearly do not expect you to not go that way. If you've been going main from the start, I think your team would have followed you. But this ends up with you being completely out of sync with your team. I mean, this is just kind of like gold level stuff, right? Now you've got D.Va. You're switching heroes so much. There's no way you know how to play like 5 different heroes at like the level that you're at. It's just impossible. There's way too many mechanics. So this is not a good time to be matrixing because you're just going to waste your matrix doing nothing. Yep. You don't have LOS your healers, so you're not getting healing. This missile is terrible because you can't... Missiles are used for close range targets, not long range targets. It's a little misleading. Right now, the Ramacha's going to beat you up. You nearly lose mech. Did a good job. Kirigui did a good job saving it. Like, your issue is not that you don't know how to play this map. Your issue is that you don't know how to play the tanks that you're choosing. Right? I think if you were an experienced D.Va player, you would understand how to take this. So, I think D.Va is not good for this point. A. But B, if you're going to take D.Va, like, take it one corner at a time, right? From here... Take here, from here, take here, from here, right? Push this way, or widen out, right? And go this way, okay? Alternatively, you can go from here, you can go over the top. If you know their exact position, you can land on top of them, try to burst somebody down, and then matrix and walk off and go back to your team. Like, you have a few options here, but none of them are the things that you're doing. Okay, your soldier's gonna get pinned in there, he's gonna die. Yep, you just gotta get out, now you're good with mech. This is a huge waste of time. Alright, you're gonna come back again. That was... Yeah, see, like, stuff like that tells me that you don't play D.Va, because you can't keep track of him after you bump him, right? You see, you're, like, wildly off, you're shooting or missing, like, none of this is hitting the Hanzo. And if you bump that, if you had been bumping that Hanzo, like, hundreds of times in practice, you would be able to track him after you bump him. But because you haven't, like, you don't really know how to do it. Which, I'm not saying this to, like, try to offend you in any way, I'm just saying that you're playing way too many heroes, right? You know, I see that your name is Hoops Fan, right? So you're probably a basketball player. So let me use like a basketball analogy. Imagine somebody trying to play basketball for the first time, okay? And they're maybe like reasonably athletic, but they've never done any of this skill, like never touched a basketball before in their life. And the very first game they play, right, they want to shoot threes. And you're like, okay, dude, you got to calm down. Like, you're nowhere close to being able to shoot three. And then next game, they decide to want to play in the post, right? And they want to break out their post moves. And you're like, okay, well, like, we're trying to work on your shooting form. Like, why are you trying to post right now? And next game, they want to handle and be the point guard and, like, you know, get a bunch of really good dishes. Like, there's just too many things to work on. Like, you're just going to be a horrible mess where none of the skills you're trying to do will sink in because you're trying to do them all at once. Like, pick one hero and just be like, I'm just going to play this hero until I understand how this hero works. Okay? Because the problem here is that you're having a mess of all these different heroes, and it's like impossible for me to give any advice because all of these heroes look like you don't know what you're doing. And like that's what it'll look like if you don't have enough hours on them, right? Like looking at this, I think that your total competitive hours are probably like under 100. And I would say that you need to play a single hero for 100 hours just to really get to the point of being proficient at what that hero does. There's way too much like chaos here for me to like reasonably give you more advice. Like I'm not going to watch the rest of this video because I don't think it's relevant, right? None of the heroes that you've played demonstrate to me that you understand their mechanics. So let's roll back, right? Summary here. I would say most of all, pick one hero, maybe two, but one hero, right? And just try to keep playing that hero to try to truly iron out how does that hero work. And yeah, sometimes you're going to be picking that hero into a disadvantageous situation. That's okay, right? That's okay. That's totally fine. That's part of learning, is understanding what even is a disadvantage situation, right? If you think, oh, is it, maybe is Sigma bad here? No, maybe Sigma's good here. You don't know until you play it. Until you play that matchup over and over and over again. You're like, look, I really don't like playing Sigma against Roadhog. I have a lot of trouble with his hooks. Fine. Then you can start thinking, okay, what's somebody else I could play in this situation? But trying to play like 5 different heroes in one game is crazy. I have over 2,000 hours of playing Overwatch, and I can play most of the tanks at like GM or Masters level. There is no way that I would play 5 tanks in a match. That's like absolutely crazy to me. So simplify your game, right? Learn skills on just one hero at a time, and then think about diversifying. That is the single biggest piece of advice. I will give you some advice, like links to guides for the other heroes that I've kind of talked about in here, but biggest single advice, pick one hero, right? Otherwise it's impossible to review this. Okay, hopefully it's helpful.